everyone, it's Annette. Welcome back to my channel. I'm glad you're here. Today I'm going to show you a card or how to make a card using foiling. This is a new technique for me, so I wanted to show you, and this is a sample of the card I did. This background is all foiling, and then this is a separate die, stamp and die that I stamped in black ink and then colored with marker, die cut it out and then glued it on. But I really want to show you this foiling technique, and I've watched a lot of videos on it. I just have never had this product until recently, these foils, and I wanted to just step you through. The reason why I've not done foiling is because there are some tools required. You need a laminator or a fuse machine or any kind of laminator. I just didn't want to invest in anything extra, but lo and behold, my sister-in-law has loaned me an old laminator, and I'm going to bring it in here shortly. It's not the prettiest thing, but I just want to show you that you can do these techniques without having all the things, all the new tools. I experimented and it worked on this old laminator that is probably from the 70s. I mean, you'll see it. It's showing its age, but it worked, and I want to show you. So I'm going to set this card aside because we're not going to do this exact card. We're going to do something different. But here are the products we're going to start with. So I have these Poly-Glaze foiling sheets, and these are from Gina K Designs. And this one is called Happy Swirls. So in this pack, you get 10 sheets, and I'll take them out. They're all the same. You get the same design, but these Poly-Glaze, this is what the foil will adhere to once you apply heat on it through the laminator. So wherever you see the swirls, this foil will adhere to that. And then you'll end up with a negative piece of foil that you can use again on blank Poly-Glaze sheets, where you can, I don't have any, but you would purchase them and they would look just like this, but with no design. They just have the solid Poly-Glaze on them. And then when you lay the negative sheet that you'll get after we use this, it will come out foiled, but where you see the swirls on this one, they will be blank, and all the foiling will be where you see white space on this one. So it'll be the opposite. It'll be the negative of this. So that's neither here nor there because we're not doing that today. So let me show you. So this is a Poly-Glaze foiling sheet. Let me get this out of the way. So we're going to need one of these. And then this is Gina K Designs Fancy Foils. And this is a starter pack, and there are 4 sheets. So the color on this one is Wild Lilac and Amazing Amethyst. Wild Lilac and Amazing Amethyst. So I believe you probably get 2 sheets of each. They're real pretty, like lilac, and then this one's a little bit deeper. I think since we're going to be stamping in black ink later, I'm going to use the lighter of the 2. So I'm just going to take a sheet out, and I'm just going to turn it upside down. And you just want to cut a piece that's just a little bit larger than your cardstock. So you can use a rotary scissors or just a regular pair of scissors, and it just cuts. It doesn't have to be perfect or exact, but you do want it to be larger than your piece of cardstock. And then I'm just going to put this piece away. And I'm going to set that aside. Okay. So in order to use this, you will need what they call a carrier sheet. So Gina K Designs has a laminator called a Fuse, and it is on my wish list. Right now they're out of stock, and I will eventually get one of those just so I can give my sister-in-law back this laminator. But you know, that's down the road. But when you get those laminators, you'll get a carrier sheet, but you can use a piece of just regular copy paper, which is what I'm going to do today. So let me grab that. So this is just a regular sheet of copy paper folded in half. And to prepare this, you don't want any dust or any specks on your oh, what do you call these things? I'm already blanking. Your Poly-Glaze. You don't want any dust or specks on the Poly-Glaze or on the foil. So you can take like a dry Swiffer, or I have a lint-free cloth, and just wipe it down. Okay, and the same with your foil. I'm gonna do both sides, although I think it's this side that you want to make sure there's no dust on it. So just give it a nice wipe, and then you want the shiny side up, okay, on your card, on your Poly-Glaze. Again, I'm going to flip it around because I want the straight edge, not the cut edge that I did. I want the straight edge to be fed first into the carrier, or into the laminator. So then you're just going to set it in your carrier sheet and make sure everything's smooth, okay? And now I'm going to bring in the laminator. Let me zoom out because I think I'm going to need more space for this. All right, let me bring this in. Okay, so as you can see, this is a 9-inch hot laminator. Very old. Not sure how old it is. I don't even know what the brand is, but it doesn't matter. I've already turned it on. It took quite some time to heat up. I think it's just because of its age, but the green light here is on and it's ready. I know Gina K's fuse system heats up within 2 to 3 minutes because I've seen her and other card demonstrators demonstrate it. So, but this one's ready to go. And again, proving you don't need all the things. So we're just going to feed this through the laminator, and you just get it started until it catches, and then just let it run through. Takes its good old time, but that's okay because you want the heat to adhere so all that color gets onto the Poly-Glaze sheet. And when this is done, I'm going to turn this machine off. So let's see. All right, so we just want to let this cool for a few seconds. Let me just put this out of the way. Okay, so you can just wave this and let it cool. But then you just want to gently peel and reveal. And then this is what I was telling you about. This piece of foil is now the negative of this. And we'll save this, and then when I get the plain Poly-Glaze sheets, I can foil that. But there you go. It just leaves a nice shiny lavender design. And it looks silver when you're looking at it straight on. You can see my ring light, but when you tip it, you can definitely see, I don't know if the camera's catching it, but you could definitely see the lavender when you tip it and turn it. Okay, so I'm going to put this negative piece away. And then the next thing I want to do is I'm going to bring in some of Gina K's master layouts. Let me first do master layouts number 4. Because I want to cut this panel. This is going to be our card panel, which will go on a mat and then on our card base. And if you've watched my videos, that's pretty much the recipe. You have a card base, a mat layer, and then this gets glued on top of the mat layer, and all of that goes onto the card base. So this is going to be the top layer, and I want to cut this. I want to kind of trim it down, and I'm going to use Master Layouts number 4, and I'm going to use this scalloped stitched die, which is right here in my hand. So it'll give a nice detail around once I cut it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up my die cutting machine and do that. All right, my trusty old Big Shot. And then we will just put our foiled sheet here, and I am going to tape this down. Just want to make sure I get it right to the edge and then tape it down. And then we will run that through. And I'm gonna have to move it out of the way here. Okay, and then that should give us a really nice scalloped edge. You can probably see it better if I don't have my hand on there. And look at that shine. Isn't that cool? I mean, I don't know that the video is doing it justice here, but it gives a nice scalloped edge, and there's stitching along the inside edge as well. Hopefully you can see that. All right, so that's one step. Now we're going to do more master layouts here in a moment. Let me get this out of the way. And then, let's see. Well, I will show you, whoops, I'm knocking things over. I'll show you the matte layer. I'll just show this to you because I've already cut it. But for the matte layer, I used Master Layouts 12, and I used the large stitched rectangle, which is this piece right here, and that's the die. And there you can see it has a stitched border. And then when you run it through your die cutting machine, that's what you get. I'm not sure if this camera's picking it up. Let's see if we can. Let's see if you can get that. Well, let's try a different way. Let's just zoom. There, I think you can see it now. Yeah. All right, so that gives a nice stitched border, and this will be laid on top or glued on top of that. So that's the matte layer. And then I used Master Layouts 2. I'm busting out all the Master Layouts. Master Layouts is just her die, you know, panel dies and banner dies and just different things, and they kind of all coordinate together. And if you go to her Facebook page, I believe it's Gina K Designs Stamp and TV Friends or something like that, but she has on her Facebook page, on I believe the community tab, but she has a PDF of what all the master layouts do. But obviously you don't need these. You can just use your paper trimmer and cut your paper to whatever size, but sometimes it's nice to have these, or if you want a special border around. So for Master Layouts 2, I used the stitched smaller rectangle, and then the plain, the shadow layer rectangle. And then this is what you get when you do those. So this is the stitched rectangle. There you go. And then this is just a plain, that's the shadow layer. So this is eventually going to get glued onto here. All right, so I just wanted to show you, that's kind of where I set up all of my pieces. And then I believe, well, we are not done die cutting. So let's just set these panels aside for a minute. We're going to stamp the greeting next. So let me bring out my mini Misti. Okay, we're going to stamp a greeting from Gina K Designs. This is a mini stamp set called You Are Enough mini stamps. And I love this. It's so cute. So I've not used this stamp set before, so we're going to break it out today. And I'm going to use this, looks like a silhouette stamp, and then You Are the Best. I'm going to use those two. So I'm going to use the flower on the white panel. I don't want to do that yet. I want to do You Are the Best. I want to just do that. So I just need a piece of white paper. White cardstock. That's not white, that's cream. Here we go. This is the same cardstock, so that matches. And I'm just going to stamp You Are the Best for right now. Just put that down there. And we're going to die cut that out with a circle die or an oval die from Hero Arts. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'll show you kind of what my method is here. Once I lay the stamp down, I find the die that I want, and I I'm going to use this oval. I think I already checked it out. I just want to make sure I have room. I don't want my stamp to be down here. Kind of want it centered so I have room to die cut that out when I'm ready. So that looks good. All right. Put these out of the way. And I've not used this stamp set before, so I'm just priming the stamp. I'm just rubbing the residue that is left on from the manufacturing process. And then I'm going to use Gina K Designs Premium Dye Ink in Black Onyx. And we're just going to ink up that stamp. Let me just tip this over. And then just don't press too hard when you're using these sentiment stamps. You don't want to squish the letters down and make it all blotchy. Gina's stamps are very high quality. They are an investment, I will say, but if you make cards as much as I do, or if this is your craft or hobby or even business, you want the best tools. You want your product has your name on it. When you create something and give it to somebody, you just want it to be the best. So, all right, so that's that. We'll let that dry a moment before we die cut it. I'll just set it over on my die cut machine. And, oh, I think we're going to need this still. So before I do that, I do want to pull out this silhouette stamp. All right. And we are going to stamp this on to this panel. Okay, but before I do that, I'm going to stamp it in black ink, but I want to pull in some color. I'm going to use Wild Lilac. We're going to stick to the purple theme. And I'm going to bring in a blending brush and just kind of rub off anything that was on here previously. I might even use this just to, nope, that won't work. All right, I'm just going to pull in some color. And I'm just going to go around the edges very lightly. In fact, I might even take some of that color off and just real lightly go around the edges just to soften it up. Bring it in just a little bit, kind of like a halo effect. Okay, and just keep doing that. I just think it just adds a little something extra. All right, and that's all for that. And then we want to bring in the Misti. Okay, I'm going to put this into our Misti tool. Put it right up into the corner. I don't want it to move once it's in there. And then we will put the stamp. Oh, let's put it right about like that. Okay. And pick it up. And again, I'm priming the stamp because I've not used this one before. Just give it a good rub. And then we're going to go back to the black Onyx. Ink that up. If you've not used a stamp before and you see beading, like the ink is beading on the stamp, that just means it's new. That's kind of why these platforms are nice, because chances are you're going to have to stamp it more than once. I'm just going to use my hand here and just give this a nice even pressure. I'm sure I'm going to have to stamp it again because I want a nice dark silhouette image. So the more you ink these stamps, the more you use them, they'll get conditioned. So let's just do that again. Okay, I'm going to do it one more time, but you can see that's looking really nice. It's going to look nice on that card panel. Okay. Now you can stamp these first and then die cut, but I went ahead and did it. I did the die cutting first this time. Normally I do stamp and then die cut, but then the ink sometimes gets on my die cutting plate, and I don't want to wait for it to dry and all that. So I just thought I'm going to die cut first, stamp later. So that's looking good. I'm just going to wipe off my stamp. I'm using Gina K Design's Tidy Towel. And we're going to put the stamp away. I always like to take the time to clean my stamps, put them away. Same with my dies, especially the dies, because once they fall on the floor or in the trash, good luck trying to find them. They're not easy to find. Okay, so that is looking good. I think we're done with the Misti. And then I will just go ahead and adhere this to the matte layer for that panel. And I'm using Gina K Connect Glue. And the glue comes in a larger tube, and I just open it and squirt it into these fine tip bottles. And it really helps when you're needing to put glue like in a little tiny area, or if you're applying any kind of embellishments, just to have that fine tip, just to get the glue exactly where you want it. So there's that. Let me set that aside, and then we're going to go ahead and die cut the greeting out. Go ahead and do that. So yeah, I just really wanted to show you that, you know, I really wanted to do foiling, but I just didn't want to get all the new tools and new supplies, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try this old laminator. And sure enough, it worked. I don't know. I'm sure I'll see a difference when I use the other machine whenever I do get it. But, you know, for now, it's just working great. I think it looks just fine. And I think whoever gets the card, they won't even know. They won't know the difference, because it looks just fine. All right, let me get this out of my way. And I think I'm even going to, let me grab my blending brush. I think I'm going to soften the edges up of this as well. In fact, I'll show you a trick, if I can pick it up. Whatever ink you have left on your brush, just go over the edges. Just brush it back and forth. Just kind of gives it a antique look. I don't know, my camera, what's going on? It's mental today. It's not focusing. There we go. All right. Time to put it together. Oh, I need a card base. Okay. So, just to review, we have a card base. It's just a piece of 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. You cut it at 4 1/4 and score it at 5.5 and fold it. Or, if you're like me, just fold it over, meet the corners, and right there's where you would score it. And then I'm just going to take a bone folder and crease down the edge. If you have a logo stamp, which I do, you can stamp it. I'll do that later. So let's just put this together. This is easy now. Just want to glue everything down. Okay. You can also use foam tape if you wanted some dimension. I do that a lot of times, but today I'm just going to keep it simple. Keep it simple and easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Here we go. All right. And then you have decisions to make. You can put this dead center. You can offset it. Where are my reverse tweezers? This is kind of like having a third hand here. So you can put it in the center, offset it. Kind of like it offset a little bit, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay. And then we will just, I'm looking at the stitched edge border here, right inside the scalloped edge, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball and get that where it looks like it's even top, bottom, and that left edge. Okay, and then this, I think I will, let me pull out some foam squares and pop that up. Hold on. These are from Simon Says Stamp 3D foam squares. And let's see, where's my tool here? I may not even need it. I can just put these on. Let's see, will I need that on the one side? I don't even think we're going to need it on this side. Just pick that off. Well, that one's going to take one for the team because now it's all folded over on itself, but I'm going to use this panel here to raise up the one side, so I really only need foam squares on that one side, just like that. Okay, just peel the paper backings off and find your placement. Okay. And then all that's left to do is put it on your card base. I always make sure the card is opening in the right way. I've made some upside down cards. It happens. And line up all the margins. And that was a pretty quick and easy card. So there you go. We did some foiling. It's so pretty. Just that background. It's kind of iridescent, but there's lavender, gray, black. It just really looks cool, especially when the light hits it. So I will definitely try to get a good picture to capture that. And I want to thank you again for joining me. I'm here every week. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss next week's video. Put up a video every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And I hope to see you next week. Until then, make it a great day and week.